We live in a time when innovation and creativity are the path to autonomy, success, and unlimited potential. But our education system is trapped in the industrial age. We are still being fed the story that job security equals freedom. For many of us, that just isn't good enough. Every week, I'm bringing you the stories and experiences of entrepreneurs who don't accept the narrative that there is only one path to success. Their entrepreneurial journey is allowing them the freedom to prioritize both their businesses and their families. They are intentionally building a legacy to lead their family into a new era of innovation and growth. This is Our Modern Heritage Legacy Secrets, and I'm your host, Jodi Chaffee. All right, welcome to Our Modern Heritage Legacy Secrets. I'm your host, Jodi Chaffee, and on the show today, I have with me Jared McDonald. And Jared says that he used to be overweight and struggled with food addiction and having type 1 diabetes for almost 30 years. 7 years ago, he lost the weight, kept it off, took control of his health, and now rules his own life, right? Rather than letting his health, food, and disease rule him. He's coached hundreds of people to be healthier living, and now dedicated to life, to helping others break free from the chains of poor health and live the life that they are meant to live. Jared is a husband to amazing wife and a father to the best 1-year-old out there. Welcome, Jared.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. I love this, discussion about health. The health is so your passion and exciting for you that, to have like a service-based business where, you're taking something that's important and crucial, seeing that there's a problem, right, in our culture and our society around health and wanting to do something about it. So this is a really inspiring journey to know that you went through the hardships and the struggles of getting your life and your health in order, and then to turn around and want to help other people. What point did you know, like, okay, I feel empowered now, I'm ready to go out and help other people? When did you know that that was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, great question. It's actually kind of a scary jump. I was doing like business coaching, if you like, a little bit, and doing nutrition on the side. So it was always like a safeguard, like, do I ever know enough to help people with nutrition and health? And because, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't have a licensed medical degree per se, though that's kind of where my family comes from is they, we've got doctors in our family. And so I made the transition about 2 years, almost 2 years ago. I'd kind of done it off and on, but I said, I have something that's changed my life and probably made a bigger impact on my life than almost anything else that I've ever done. And I feel like it's just time to do it. And anyone starting a business, it's always scary starting any business because there's a lot of things you got to work through and learn and mostly fight your own demons, I feel like, as far as your own insecurities. But so it was about 2 years ago, a year and a half-ish. I just said, let's just do it. And we went jumped in. Like I didn't have any other job. I didn't have anything else going on. I just said, this is what we're doing now. And had a system and that kind of thing that I'd been using. So I just put it together online for people and started coaching people. So yeah.
Wow. So that was a big leap for you, right? From having a job to going, and I'm going to start my own business.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah. So, it goes back further than 2 years. I had a good job, left that job, didn't have a job when I left that job. But had some ideas of what I wanted to do, and then got an awesome position helping a friend kind of doing some consulting. So that was kind of like the jump, like, oh, I don't have a job. And then we moved to Idaho for my wife's family lives there, and she had some health issues. So I didn't have a job when we moved, but we knew we were supposed to move there to get her health in order. So that was like 3.5 years ago. And so it was like, well, I got to make a job now because I didn't necessarily want to get a job. So that's when I actually started doing more consulting. But then after about a year and a half of that, I decided to jump into the weight loss and the health. So It was a big, scary thing to not have and some people have jobs and they work themselves out of it in their business, which maybe is the smarter choice. But for me, it was do or die, sink or swim, and definitely had to learn how to swim real fast.
That's so inspiring. That's actually, I relate to that because that was how, for 10 years, my husband struggled professionally. And then in April last year, it was like, we just need to cut this thing off. Like, this is stupid. Why are we trying to live this lifestyle when we're miserable? And he hated his job, you know? So it's like, I love though that your story, you're saying like you made that shift because you prioritize your wife's health. Like, and then going, whoa, I don't want a job. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people that I've even talked to have been like, well, I knew starting a business was important, but because I had a secure job, I didn't have the urgency to get it going. Like you said, some people have a secure job and then they kind of wean themselves off of it by growing their business bigger and bigger. But then some people don't have that urgency in order to scale their businesses in order to break up with their jobs, right?
Yep.
And so that's inspiring that you just were like, no, I want to break up with my job now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and it was even, do I get a job? That was the question. Do I get a job, or
Right.
do I do this full time? Like, is this my new job? Like, consulting is where I started, and I just said I like being home with my family. Like, it's nice to eat lunch with my wife every single day, and anyway. So it was. I always say, if you want your business to succeed, burn the ships, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't have an option to get away. If you've heard the story of the captain of the army who burns the ships, and he says,
Right.
we're going to conquer, or we're going to die. So, like, there's no other option. So that, anyway, I don't necessarily suggest it for everyone, but for me it worked.
It's a different kind of life. I
Yeah.
would say that too much urgency, it can lead to scarcity and fear. So that's something that try to avoid that extreme.
Yes, absolutely.
It keeps you from growing really because you come when you're in survival mode. I'm speaking way too much from experience right now. Okay. When you're in
I'm right
survival
there with
mode, you
you.
stop progressing really because you can't think clearly. You can't be creative. You being in creative zone is you have to be out of survival.
Yep.
So have some kind of foundation of my tip.
Yeah. I would think, yeah, the best thing is maybe have a part-time job, do this at the
Right,
beginning.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it sounds like, with it was just you and your wife at the time, right? Because
Yep.
your baby is just one. So that sounds like, it's a time when you could do that, right? Like but when you were doing this, you're thinking, I'm going to start a business. Did you have anywhere in your mind like someday I'm going to have children and I already enjoy spending time with my wife and having lunch with her. How much more amazing will it be when we have a family and I'm able to prioritize my time now. Did you have any of that come into your mind as you were making this transition?
Yeah, 100%. It was, we had in mind, we were trying to get her healthy so we could have kids, right? That was the whole
Yeah.
goal, is moving to Idaho and being close to her family and de-stressing from what she was doing, and because she was working at the time. And so, yes, 100%,
Yeah.
family is first always for me, and then business and other things. But yeah, that was totally the goal, is to be able to be home. And then it wasn't too long. I mean, a year and a half ish, we got pregnant, and
Mhm.
and had the baby. So it was very
Yeah.
much like, yes, I don't want to ever go back to having a normal job for that
So
reason.
yeah, and how is that like reflected on, now when you think about, okay, now you have your baby, you have your future with your family, and is this going to impact the way that you raise your children to how do you think, how does it impact your family and how you're going to raise them?
Yeah, well, I think it's huge. Uh, be just being there. Like, I even for this
Yeah.
week, our daughter's actually been really sick this week,
Mhm.
teething and all that fun stuff, right? So super sick. And my wife also has a business. She's a director of a company, and dances professionally and all that stuff. And so, like, we flip flop. So I take our daughter like part of the day, and she does it, later, and we kind of flip flop. So it's just being there for her. Like, we don't have to give her to someone else. Not that that's bad. We've just chosen, this is for us.
Yeah.
This is what we want. And so, to be able to be there, to be able to, like, I can work from anywhere, so we can go travel, and I can, like, still technically work and provide for my family. And I think it's just the ability to be there for my family, to create that freedom, which is nice.
Yeah, freedom. That's so crucial. That's awesome. So a lot of the times when we talk about this, we're building our businesses, we're creating our own future and prioritizing our families, what would you say is the legacy that you are working to cultivate for your business and for your family?
Yeah, I think the common answer would be like, of course, like you want to leave money behind, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's a legacy of excellence and self-mastery. Starting a business is hard. And I do a lot of health. So you have to learn
Uh-huh.
to master your cravings and your body and food choices. So a lot of my mind is around just becoming the best version of yourself. And whether you're working for someone else or you're working for yourself, like you can do that. And there's going to be hard things, and failure is okay. Like you just keep going forward. That's the whole point of this life, is that there is this opposition, there's this struggle, there's this resistance that you feel, and that means you need to do it more. That means you need
Yeah.
to just keep pushing. And so I want my kids to look at me and be like, I want my husband or my future spouse to be like dad, to be like mom, and have such a high standard that, like, in all aspects, health,
Yeah.
business, family, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like what I think of, like when my daughter's getting married, the standard's got to be really high of
Yeah.
excellence, just self-mastery in all areas.
And you're going to be able to trust that she's going to pick that going,
Right.
I've been her example, or,
Yep. Yeah,
that,
exactly. You'll only see
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Jared, for being here and talking about your journey and why it's so important to your family. And I'm also excited and interested about you said in health you want to be excellence, and I guess I kind of want to transition for just a minute about this what you teach. What do you talk about in health that has also impacted your family?
Yeah, yeah. This is a loaded question, obviously, but learning to master yourself. I think one of the hardest things to master yourself in is food choices, at least in the United States. Other countries, I don't live there, so I don't always know, but I think it's pretty similar, at least in more developed countries where, like, there's
Mhm.
food everywhere and it's all processed, it's all sugary, and it's really hard to say no. I've been a food addict, so I know, like, I don't want to do that, but I did it anyway, and I found
Mhm.
myself overweight and struggling, and emotionally it took a toll, spiritually it took a toll, and of course physically. My relationships, like I'd go hide and eat food, like like I didn't want people to see that I was eating food. So, like, taking control of that and learning to master myself impacted those areas of my life, not just the physical of losing the weight and being healthy and never struggling with energy issues and all that stuff that I used to struggle with, but also spiritually, emotionally, socially, with my wife. It strengthened our relationship to learn to take control of our health and our food. And it's hard to explain that to someone who's never experienced it, but, like, even spiritually, like, it's had more impact on me spiritually than almost anything else in my life. And people don't understand that until you learn to master yourself. That's why I think self-mastery is so hard around
Yeah.
food, especially. So it's had a huge impact in all areas for sure. And so that's one of the major components. I mean, we deal with physical stuff in my program as far as helping address more like underlying root cause issues of why people are struggling with weight. It's not just
Yeah.
about calories and exercise and doing more of those things. It's more about learning to think the right way and
Mm.
to shift the thinking. But then you also have to address the physical stuff. So we do the mental and the emotional side of things, and learning how to do that long term and do it sustainably, because you can't make a meal for you and a separate meal for your kids. Like, that's
Yeah.
not sustainable. So you learn how to think the right way as a family around food, and that, which I think is a huge impact, and just providing a lot of security for people to not have to struggle anymore and still
Yeah.
have treat night on Sundays or whenever it is for them.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that and helping us understand more about what you do and who you are. And like that practice that you it just sounds so well balanced and wholesome. Like we want to be able to have that kind of, I think when we're talking about our families, talking about our businesses, we want to have that kind of balance and self-mastery, right? Like that's so crucial. That's awesome. So awesome, Jared. Thank you so much. And tell us where we can find you and connect with you and learn more about your programs.
Yeah, easiest place is just my website. So rebootmymetabolism.com. So just think about your own metabolism, rebootmymetabolism.com, and you can go check that out there, and numbers and videos and all sorts of cool stuff on there.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jared. Thank you so much for listening. But I have to tell you that this is just the beginning. There is more to this episode inside of my Facebook group. I hope that you'll go and request to join that community because it's awesome. There's more podcast content that's exclusive to the group. There's also giveaways, live Q&As, and you can come and ask questions and take part in this awesome community. So please come and request to join at facebook.com/groups/familyculture-strategies. You can also find my page on Facebook at facebook.com/familyculturepodcast. And I'm at Instagram in the same handle, Family Culture Podcast. I hope you'll come and follow me there and join in this movement to create an intentional family culture around being entrepreneurial and integrating and prioritizing your family as you grow your business. So come and join me there. I hope to see you there. You can also come find my website at ourmodernheritage.com. Thank you so much. And remember that if you want to change the world, go home and love your family.